Now, we are a couple of days before the end of February and a couple of days before the madness of racing takes up the space. On one end, spring season is right around the corner. And on the other, it's the Formula One season and it's heating up. 10 marquee teams, 20 flamboyant drivers will go on head-to-head into a battle. Speed, thrill, excitement, emotions, mind games, and of course the good old verbal banter. There is room for everything right here, especially in this season. The Formula One year is ready to take off. On the 2nd of March 2024, the Bahrain Grand Prix will mark the start of the 2024 Formula One calendar, and there's 23 more races to follow. The drivers will have 3 rounds of practice spread across 29th February and 1st of March, and of course the qualifying race on the 1st, followed by the big one on the 2nd of March. Marking 20 years since the very first Bahrain Grand Prix took place. But the 2024 season is already abuzz with so much chatter, and there is much to look forward to this year. Let me start. While it would be an emotional farewell for some, it would be about cementing their legacy for others. Certain drivers will come out to prove a point, while few others will be basking in the glory and reputation that they have built over the years. This surely is not going to be just another Formula One season. And of course, it's the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton at the center of it all. And that is what makes this year even more interesting. How often can you remember of a Formula One season where all the talk does not revolve around the champion of the previous year, but around someone who's had a pretty average 2023 instead? Now, don't get me wrong here, Lewis Hamilton is a racing superstar, but let's face it, he himself would want to erase that last year from his resume. But getting back to the buzz ahead of the season, the talk is not about Hamilton's racing prowess, nor his preparations or even Mercedes team strategies. It's all about Hamilton's shocking decision to leave Mercedes and join hands with Ferrari at the end of this year. We all have already spoken so much about that, so I won't go back in there, but that decision has certainly grabbed all the eyeballs. Hamilton, who has won 6 World Championship titles with Mercedes, will be keen to make this final season a memorable one. So it's perfect that we start at Bahrain. The circuit is a special one for Hamilton. The British driver won the Grand Prix on record 5 occasions, but heading into the season, there is much more than just past achievements that Hamilton and Mercedes will bank on. Team principal Toto Wolff has expressed optimism regarding the W15, Mercedes' new ride for this season.
I believe the previous 2 years were necessary for us to readjust, recalibrate, and reinvent ourselves in certain areas. That root and branch approach is never easy, but we have made progress and look forward to taking the next step with the W15. It won't be a linear path, but when we stumble, we will get back up and keep climbing.
Mercedes are also coming off a year where they overtook Ferrari by just a whisker to finish second in the Constructors' Championship race. They've benefited, of course, from a steady, mature drive from Russell in the season finale to secure that result. Hamilton and Mercedes will be looking to finish the season in a grand manner. But the prospect of Hamilton leaving is certainly looming large and might just overshadow all of this a tad bit. But apart from the challenge within, what about the biggest threat from the grid itself? Max Verstappen and the Red Bull are coming off a stunning 2023. But in the 2024 pre-season testing, Red Bull didn't have impressive numbers to show. It's believed that Red Bull might have been running on higher fuel loads in the pre-season testing, so that mean pacey aspect of just how good their car is was not evident. But this may even lead to many writing off the Red Bull. A mistake a lot of them made in 2023 too, and we all witnessed what happened thereafter. Last year, Max Verstappen pocketed his 3rd consecutive championship title. He dominated with a record 18 wins, 21 podiums, 12 pole positions. Verstappen is also accompanied by the calm and composed Sergio Perez. The duo complement each other's contrasting styles. Verstappen is more attacking, while Perez brings more composure and a freestyle driving to the team. And with the new car in, Verstappen and Perez will be looking to defend their title.
It is always going to be hard to try and replicate the year that we've had, but we always try to learn and to grow. That doesn't necessarily mean winning the same amount of races, but I do think it can be a very competitive car, and now it's up to us to extract the most out of it.
All this sounds great, but Red Bull has come under the spotlight, and it's not something that's making the right waves as they head into a very critical race here. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner is caught in the middle of a storm. He's being investigated over allegations of inappropriate behavior. Allegations were made by a female employee of Red Bull against Christian Horner, stating that he exhibited controlling behavior. Horner has, of course, denied the allegations. The external investigation carried out on February 9th is complete, is what reports say, but Horner's fate hangs in the balance and will be decided sometime before the Bahrain Grand Prix. In fact, Red Bull is putting up a united front in this matter to show that all is well and they're not really bothered about this. Christian Horner was present at the team car launch earlier this month, but if FIA and the authorities sitting as judge on this controversial issue come out with anything adverse, it will certainly create a lot of imbalance and a bit of a discord in the team as well, and will certainly hit them hard ahead of a fresh season. And speaking about a psychological edge, one team that will be high on it and on confidence is Ferrari. The team had an exceptional pre-season testing and will be hoping to continue the same heading into the race this weekend. Charles Leclerc clocked the quickest time on the final day of testing, and his teammate Carlos Sainz finished on top over the 3 days of testing. They had their moments in 2023 and would want to carry that forward. What were they? Carlos Sainz was the only non-Red Bull driver to register a Grand Prix victory last year. Leclerc showed incredible growth and maturity as a driver as well last year. And with the arrival of SF24, their car for the 2024 season, things ought to get better for Ferrari.
I like the look of the car a lot, including the white and yellow parts on the bodywork. But of course, what really interests me is how it will perform on the track, as that's all that matters. The SF24 ought to be less sensitive and easier to drive, and for us drivers, that's what you need in order to do well. I expect the car to be a step forward in several areas, and from the impression I formed in the simulator, I think we are where we want to be. This season, the aim is to be the front runners all the time, and I want to give our fans plenty to cheer about by dedicating race wins to them.
Carlos Sainz, who will leave the team at the end of the season, will also be looking to end things on a high. Also, Ferrari will be waiting to roll out the red carpet for Hamilton in 2025. So this will be sort of a landmark year for both these drivers in some sense, sort of paving the way for the Hamilton era in Ferrari to start off. Another team looking to turn the tables is McLaren. Given how they finished 2023, expectations around McLaren are sky high. Their strong closing stretch last year has given the team a lot of hope and a ton of momentum heading into 2024. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, along with team principal Andrea Stella, will be banking on MCL38, their car, for 2024.
I'm certainly pleased that we have been able to make significant steps forward after a difficult start to 2023 from a reliability point of view. I'm pleased not because I look at the results, but because I look at the work that we have put into the technical reliability in particular. In terms of looking at the organization and the operating model of how we deal with reliability, we have deployed more focus and structure on reliability.
Things seem to be falling in place for McLaren. If the team got it right with the MCL38 in pre-season testing, can they truly start off on the right foot here? Something they did not quite do the last year. So the excitement for the season is evident. The buzz on the grid and off it is enough to fuel a super intense competitive chapter in Formula One. Will drivers script memorable farewells, or will Red Bull stamp its authority and class all over once again? We'll stay tuned for that.